In the beginning, there was no time. There was only the great before. Before the sun claimed the day, before the stars were scattered like salt across the velvet night, there was only the crushing embrace of the primordials. High above Uranus, the Sky Father spread his infinite celestial body over the world. He was a god of cold blue light and terrifying storms, a king whose crown was the atmosphere itself. But Uranus was a god of vanity. He looked down upon the earth, upon Gaia, his wife, and he saw only a canvas for his own ego. Gaia was fertile, and the life she brought forth was not always to Uranus's liking. She birthed the Hecatoncheires monsters with 100 hands and 50 heads that could move mountains. She birthed the Cyclopes great smiths with a single eye that burned with the primal forge fire of the soul. Uranus looked at them and felt a divine disgust. He did not see children. He saw stains. He saw imperfections in his perfect sky. With a voice that cracked the tectonic plates of the world, he committed the first great sin of the cosmos. He seized his own children and shoved them back into the dark, agonizing depths of the earth, to the lightless pressure of Tartarus. Imagine the pain of a mother whose womb is used as a prison. Gaia's silent screams shook the foundations of the world. Her oceans boiled with grief, and her mountains crumbled in sorrow. Every heartbeat of her children beneath the earth was a hammer blow against her soul. In the darkest caverns of her being, Gaia began to dream of a cold, grey justice. She began to dream of an end to the sky, deep within the molten veins of the earth, where the heat is so intense that even shadows melt. Gaia began to forge. She did not use gold, for gold is soft. She did not use iron, for iron can break. Instead, she reached into the deepest strata of her own spirit and pulled forth a grey flintarn element born of pressure, darkness, and old cold rage. For ages, the rhythmic clang of her creation echoed through the hollow earth. She was crafting a tool of transformation. When she emerged from the depths, she held a weapon the universe had never seen, a scythe. Its blade was curved like the moon in its final, dying phase. Its edge was so impossibly sharp that it could sever the connection between spirit and matter, between the sky and the ground. She summoned her children, the Titans' 12 giants of immense stature and power. They stood in the subterranean gloom, their eyes flickering like lanterns. "Who among you," Gaia whispered, her voice the sound of shifting gravel, "has the heart to end this? Who will deliver your brothers from the pit and strike down the father who hates you?" The elder Titans stepped back. Oceanus, the vast river, turned his waves away. Iapetus, the god of mortality, felt a chill he could not explain. They saw the sky's power every day. They feared the lightning. But from the back of the assembly, a shadow moved. The youngest of the 12, Cronus. He did not possess the bulk of his brothers, but he possessed a mind like a razor. He stepped into the light of the lava, his face a mask of cold, unblinking ambition. "I will do it," Cronus said. His voice was not a scream. It was a promise. He took the scythe from Gaia's trembling hand. In that moment, the youngest son chose to become the butcher of the cosmos. He did not do it for his brothers in Tartarus. He did not do it for his mother's tears. He did it because he wanted the throne. The night of the ambush was a night without wind. Uranus descended from the heavens, his vast starry form spreading out to embrace Gaia in the darkness. He was arrogant. He was unsuspecting. He believed he was the only power that mattered. As the Sky Father lowered himself, Cronus waited in the tall shadows of the mountains. He felt the weight of the flint scythe in his hands. He felt his own heart racing not with fear, but with the hunger for what came next. When Uranus was at his most vulnerable, Cronus struck. The world turned white. A scream erupted that was so loud it tore the atmosphere, a sound that would echo through the canyons of time for eternity. The diamond-grey blade sliced through the divine essence of the Sky Father. It was a wound that could never be healed. The blood of Uranus, the ichor of the gods, spilled across the world. Where it hit the earth, the Furies were born. Goddesses of vengeance with snakes for hair. Where it fell into the sea, the foam began to churn with a strange, beautiful white light. Uranus, his power shattered and his spirit retreating into the highest reaches of the atmosphere, looked down at his son. His eyes, once bright with stars, were now clouded with the grey mist of agony. Tyrant Uranus bellowed, his voice fading like distant thunder. You think you have won. You have only set the cycle in motion. You have taught your children how to kill a father. And mark my words, Cronus, one of your own seed will rise. One of your own will take that scythe and carve the crown from your head, just as you have done to me. Cronus watched as the sky retreated, forever separated from the earth. He stood alone on the blood-stained grass, the scythe still dripping with divine silver. He did not feel remorse. He felt the sudden, intoxicating rush of absolute vacuumless space where a king used to be. He climbed the highest peak of Mount Athres. His brothers and sisters, the Titans, gathered around him, their faces pale with awe and terror. They bowed, not because they loved him, but because they saw the coldness in his eyes. Cronus seated himself upon a throne carved from obsidian and the bones of the earth. He crowned himself king of the universe. He freed his Titan siblings, and together they began the Golden Age. To the mortals below, it was a time of plenty, a time without winter or toil. But for Cronus, the Golden Age was a lie. The words of Uranus began to fester in his mind. Every time the wind howled, he heard his father's curse. Every time his wife Rhea looked at him with love, he saw a potential mother of his destroyer. He kept the scythe by his side at all times. He looked at his own hands and wondered which of his fingers would one day be cut away. He had conquered the sky, but he had become a prisoner of time. The king was on his throne, but the shadow of the next generation was already beginning to grow. The cycle has begun. Thank you for watching. If you want to see how this cosmic prophecy unfolds, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for the next episode.